All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another webinar organized by Coronation Life Assurance. Today, we'll be discussing something that's very dear to us and also very important in our society today. Our webinar on critical illness. The theme is Young and Healthy, Why Millennials and Gen Z Should Care About Critical Illness Insurance. And we have very amazing panelists and speakers who will be doing justice to this topic. And of course, for our attendees who are here at this webinar today, we have freebies for those who would attend and those who would also participate in our polls and our activities that we have today. So please feel free to sit and put down your questions, whatever it is that you have to ask about the need for a critical illness insurance and other burning questions about insurance that you have, and our panelists obviously would help to answer them. Without wasting much of our time, we would quickly proceed to a welcome address by our Managing Director of Coronation Life Insurance, Adebowale Adesana. Good morning, Adebowale.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, good morning, everyone. And once more, welcome to today's webinar. It's my pleasure to have you all here today as we engage in this crucial conversation on why millennials and Gen Z should care about critical illness insurance. At first glance, insurance, especially critical illness insurance, may seem like a pressing concern for young adults. May not seem, sorry. Many are focused on building their careers, making smart investments, and enjoying their life in the moment. In short, we often assume that health insurance and health challenges are a very distant reality, something we should consider later in life. But the truth is that unexpected health issues can arise at any time, and when they do, they have very serious financial and emotional implications for all. At Coalition Life Assurance, we believe financial security is not just about wealth creation, but also about protection, safeguarding the future you are working so hard to build. That is why we've organized this webinar today to basically highlight why critical illness insurance should be a key part of your financial plan. Today, we have brought together a distinguished panel of experts from the fields of finance, from the fields of healthcare, and also strategy. Today, they'll be sharing valuable insights to help us understand the importance of preparing for unforeseen health challenges. They would also help us to debunk common misconceptions about critical illness insurance and also offer practical guidance on how to make informed financial decisions. Once again, I'll say to you that this is not just a discussion. This is an opportunity to empower yourself with knowledge that can make a real difference in your life and the lives of those you care about. So today, I encourage every one of us on the call today to be fully engaged. I'd like us to take notes, ask questions, and let's make the most of this very important session. Once again, without taking much of your time, I'll say thank you for being here, and I look forward to a productive and insightful conversation. Thank you all once again.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for that wonderful welcome address. Just as he has said, today promises to be very interactive and with a lot of very deep conversations that would uncover so much that we need to know about the need for critical illness insurance and insurance basically in Nigeria and the world at large. Just some bit of housekeeping before we proceed. If you have questions, please put them on the Q&A section of your computer or your mobile device, and then we'll take the questions in between the webinar or at the end of the webinar. So if you have questions, please feel free to put them on the Q&A section of the Zoom platform. We'll proceed now. We have amazing panelists and speakers who will be doing justice to this topic, and there's a lot really to say about the need for a critical illness insurance. I know a lot of people have questions around why do you need a critical illness insurance when you have a regular HMO, a regular health insurance? I mean, why do I, as a young person, need to prepare myself against or have a critical illness insurance that would help me fight against chronic illness or terminal disease, or I mean critical illness as the case may be. But when you listen to our panelists, our speakers, and all that we have to say today, you would understand clearly that there is a need for critical illness insurance, especially in the world we are today, where there's a lot happening. There's a lot with counterfeit products. There's a lot with our lifestyle living. There's so much that young people need to know to get the need for a critical illness insurance. And of course, we have adult family members who we also look out for, and there is that need for critical illness insurance for them. So I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker today to proceed with his keynote address. And after that, we'll come back for our panel session. And of course, we would launch a poll where we would announce steps for attendees to win any of our 20,000 Naira gift vouchers and also participate in our Insure and Win promo. So if you are just dialing into this webinar, please do not go away. There's so much for you today. Our keynote speaker is Dr. Chukwuka Obodo. You can see him and his profile on your screen. Dr. Chukwuka is a medical doctor, health tech innovator, CEO and co-founder of MyMedicare. He's a dedicated medical doctor with over 5 years of experience in patient-centered and care and specializing in management of chronic conditions such as hypertension and diabetes. If there's anyone to speak to us about the need for critical illness insurance, definitely is Dr. Obodo. His unwavering commitment to improving healthcare accessibility is what led him to co-found MyMedicare. MyMedicare is a pioneering health tech company that's transforming chronic disease management across Africa. As the CEO of MyMedicare, Dr. Obodo drives health innovation, digital transformation, and patient engagement strategies, ensuring individuals with chronic illnesses receive affordable, high quality, and continuous care from the comfort of their homes. Under his leadership, MyMedicare has developed an integrated health tracking platform that enhances treatment outcomes through medication adherence, remote monitoring, and physician consultations. Beyond clinical practice, Dr. Obodo is a passionate advocate for preventive healthcare, leveraging technology and data-driven solutions to bridge gaps in healthcare delivery. He has worked closely with industry leaders, policy makers, and healthcare providers to expand digital health solutions, empowering thousands of patients to take control of their health. With a deep-rooted commitment to healthcare innovation, Dr. Obodo continues to push the boundaries of digital health, telemedicine, and chronic disease management, making a lasting impact on Africa's healthcare landscape. From his profile, we can see that Dr. Obodo is very positioned to speak on this topic, and so he'll be talking to us in the next few minutes on the need for critical illness insurance and why millennials and Gen Z should care about critical illness insurance. Over to you, Dr. Obodo. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me clearly, right?
Yes, we can, please.
All right. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. You can just go to presentation mode.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much for that. Hold on. Okay, so thank you. I'm going to go briefly on the agenda for today. First part is, why does this really matter? The other part is reality of young people and clinical illness. What is clinical illness insurance, and why millennial and Gen Z should care. And the last part, we're talking about why people should take charge of their health and secure their financial security as well. Okay, so is a common thing within the younger generations that are making respect to the millennials and the Gen Zs. We often believe that nothing will happen to us because of the fact that we're still very much young. Okay, we don't believe that that we could easily have many forms of clinical illness like cancer, heart attack, hypertension, diabetes, and what have you not. Okay, and we often see this play out a lot in the sense that most younger generations focus more on their on their goals, on their financial goals, trying to make money, their career paths, paying little to no attention to their health. And as of that goes on, it's more like a cycle whereby you're working so hard, making money, and at the end of the day, you pay little attention to your health. And even at a younger age, as you advance in age, there could be a lot of effects that goes on, whereby you have to now spend quite a lot of the money you've made in your youthful age on finance, okay, on your health. Okay, so that being said, there are financial burden of clinical illness, especially in Nigeria, whereby you have an average household spend about, from the data that was published, I think that was in 2019, all right, an average household spends with NCD spend approximately 120,000 naira. And when you compare that to how much this individual earn, we found out that there is a serious mismatch with that. So this brings us to why it's important for us to take proper action and to really care much about our about our insurance and critical health. All right. So the next part we're going to be talking about is the reality for our young people and critical illness. Okay. So in Nigeria, 1 in every 3 Nigerian adults is hypertensive, which is a very saddening figure. And in Africa, we're looking at more than 40% of those age 25 years and above with hypertension. Also, we have more than 24 million Africans living with diabetes, all right? And WHO has projected more than 100% increments within the next 20 decades. So this really tells us that, it's very important for us, for a lot of advocacy to be in place, and for the younger generation to be very much aware of this and get insured on time. All right. So this also brings you back to the role of lifestyle choices, stress, and diet. All right. Because of the fact that within the younger generation, we are so much focused on what we are doing, our career paths, and other very interesting things going on in our life. We pay little to no attention to.
Sorry, doctor. Please, could you just put the presentation on slideshow? Just click slideshow on the top so that everyone can see it clearly. Not to the...
Okay.
All right.
Better now?
Yes, thank you so much.
All right. All right. Okay. All right. So our lifestyle choices, our dieting, the time we eat, not really taking enough time to really rest plays a critical role to our health on the long run. And this is something that most Gen Zs don't really take charge of. Now, for example, we talk a lot about fluid intake, all right? Most people don't take this seriously. An average adult is supposed to take at least 2 to 3 liters of water every single day. But you see many people doing way lesser than that, okay? We talk so much about sedentary lifestyle, where you see a lot of younger generations, with the gig economy, they prefer to work from home, maybe working from very foreign agencies and all. So this doesn't really give them enough time to, go about physical activities and exercising and all. So at the end of the day, this has a negative impact on their health. So we're going to talk about what this critical illness insurance is all about. All right, so critical insurance by definition, which is also known as critical illness insurance, is a type of insurance policy that provides a lump sum payment when the policyholder is diagnosed with to cover serious illness or medical condition. The payout can be used to cover medical expenses, lost incomes, or other financial burdens that arise due to illnesses. So in a layman terms, okay, someone, even before they have this condition, can, sign up for the critical illness insurance, all right, so that if there's an eventual case of cancer or chronic health condition or even an emergency, they can be able to get access to a lump sum payment that they can use to attend to their health. All right, so there are key features to critical care insurance. Number one is lump sum payouts. All right, so you receive a one-time payment upon diagnosis of a covered illness. So a person can choose if I have this illness, it could be cancer, it could be hypertension, it could be anything. This is actually what I want to be covered for. All right, so it covers for major illnesses, like I've already mentioned, and the funds are pretty much flexible. So unlike health insurance, okay, if someone is using common any HMO and all, the money is being paid to the hospital, all right, to give you access to healthcare, all right, but it's different for critical health insurance because this money is actually being given to you so that you can be able to use it for your medical treatment, and other expenses. All right. So as opposed to health insurance coverings, it doesn't allow you to have that flexibility of using your funds for other things. That is not medical care. Okay. And of course, you can further supplement health insurance. Have quite a good number of individuals that, with this knowledge, they subscribe both to the critical care insurance as well as the health insurance packaging, okay? Whereby the ones that the health insurance cannot properly cover up, the critical care insurance can take charge, all right? And of course, at a younger age, while assessing the critical care insurance, younger people with less chances of any chronic ailments or conditions, the premiums are going to be paying is going to be way lesser as compared to as you age. All right. So as someone is aging, there's more chances of them having chronic health conditions, and of course their premium is quite slightly higher. Okay. So we're going to be looking at who actually needs critical illness insurance. Number one, young professionals and freelancers. All right. So these are individuals that, maybe within their workspace, they don't really have any form of coverage. And it's very much important, okay, because it's a big challenge here in Nigeria. I mean, even across social media, you've seen it that someone goes to the hospital, maybe because of an emergency, able to pay for medical bills and, or whatnot. It's very saddening to hear, but if such individuals prior had enrolled to, critical health insurance or health insurance package, it have been easier for them to access care and not be out of pocket. Okay. Second part are family, people with family history of chronic health conditions. Okay. So there are some healthcare conditions, there are some health conditions that as someone is aging, they are based off on, first part is genetics, the other part is age, all right? As someone is aging, they are likely, if they already have a predisposing genetic condition, and it's not, and if they're not very meticulous about their lifestyle and their age, there is likelihood of them having, some of these chronic health conditions. So, for example, is diabetes. All right, it's been shown from studies that people with diabetes, of course, their offspring have to very much watch it because there's a likelihood of, them developing it over time as their age. Okay, so of course, lifestyle comes into play, but that genetic aspect is very crucial. All right, so the other part is individuals dependents who need to maintain financial stability in case of unexpected illness. And of course, anyone that is concerned about high medical costs. I mean, this is for everybody in Nigeria because looking at the high cost of things, medications, the costs have increased like by 5 to 10 times. All right, hospital admission, the same thing, so for you to spend now on medical care, you are going to be spending like up to like 10 times of what you would have spent compared to like 5 years ago. All right, so this is not very good. And considering the fact that many people are not really earning so much, so the inflation, especially on the healthcare aspect, is not allowing us to really enjoy our lives. All right, so we're going to look at the key differences between critical care insurance and health insurance. So number one is the payout type. Okay. So for critical care insurance, like we mentioned earlier on, there's lump sum payments. All right. So you get the money, you can use it to attend to your care so far you've been diagnosed of a particular ailment or chronic condition that such critical care insurance covers for. All right. As compared to health insurance, okay, they pay directly to the hospital for the bills, so they don't have much flexibility. And many of us, I mean, that use health insurance can attest to the fact that come to the hospital, there's some medications you cannot be given if it's not covered by your health insurance. All right. There are some kind of treatments you may not receive if it's not covered by your health insurance. So when you check the two of them, further that having that flexibility and being a decision maker on your own life and makes it a lot more better because you can actually decide on what you want and get the care that you deserve. All right. So looking at the usage as well, critical care can be used for any expenses as far as it concerns with your health insurance, as far as it concerns with your health and other expenses associated with it. All right. When you compare that to health insurance, it's only restricted to medical costs. All right. So it has to be whatever the doctor or the hospital diagnoses you of and what they're treating you for. They will pay the hospital. And then at the back end, offer you care. Okay. So the third part is coverage. Okay. It's specific to critical illnesses. So health insurance is more of a general thing, covering for maybe both NCDs, non-communicable disease, communicable disease, and what have you not. And also there's a dependence on treatment costs. All right. So for critical care insurance, it's dependent on treatment costs. All right. For health insurance, it's actually based on what the hospital is giving as medical bill. All right. So why should millennials and Gen Z care? I've mentioned this earlier on, and I'll still say it again. There is high rise when it comes to the cost of medical bills. All right. Both the medications, both the treatments, both whatever you can imagine, is actually increasing from time to time, and inflation is not really helping us at all. Number two, not all employees are covered by, not all employees cover critical illnesses. There's a lot of freelance and gig economy, and these people are pretty much at risk because if you are working at the freelance level, nobody will really care about providing you with any health coverage. All right. So it's very important for you to really look into this. As you're working hard to make money, it wouldn't make sense as you age. You spend a lot of that money on your health. Okay. And of course, with the rising family burden, you wouldn't want to, taking care of your family and then not actually not have so much when you fall sick because you have to spend quite a lot of this money taking care of yourself. Like I mentioned earlier on, if the person is younger, the lower the premium they will have to pay. Okay. So why should the Gen Zs and the millennials, take charge of their health and financial security? Okay. Number one is investing in preventive health tracking. Okay. Preventive medicine is very important because with proper lifestyle, dieting, and most people are able to, stay off or prevent certain chronic conditions. For example, hypertension, things like smoking, alcohol intake, sedentary lifestyle, they play a crucial role to someone having hypertension. Same thing for diabetes, what the person is eating, their sedentary lifestyle, if they're not really taking care of their health. Okay. So, and we see this very common, within the younger generation. All right. So the second part is combining healthy lifestyle with financial protection. All right. So as you are living your life, you're able to, of course, enjoy it with the little resources that you're making. It's also very important to be able to safeguard your finances, because if you don't save, if you don't have any form of insurance, and it happens that you need certain kind of medical care, that money will definitely go into paying bills, and that will take you back to whatever plans you have. Okay, the last part is how your health tracking platform. Okay. So in conclusions, there are lots of affordable CLA plans that are designed for the youth. I believe we're going to hear more about it as the webinar goes on. Okay. And before I end, I would like to state this: your health is your greatest asset. You don't have to wait for a wake-up call. All right. So you need to start tracking your health from now. It's very important. Get enough sleep, at least 6 to 8 hours every day. Ensure that you take adequate amount of fluid, 2 to 3 liters every day. I ensure that at least you do 150 minutes of workouts. It mustn't be going to the gym. You can take a walk. You can do that in the evenings, or you can run, or you can cycle, or you can swim. Just anything that makes your body moving. All right. So with that, tracking our lifestyle, definitely we're going to stay healthier. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Obodo. Really, really powerful presentation there. Thank you so much. And I'm sure that a lot of people have questions. And just as I said before, please, you're encouraged to put your question in the Q&A part of your device, and we'll take the questions when we get to the question and answer section. We would move quickly to the panel session, and I'd like to just quickly introduce some of the panelists that we have on the call. Our first panelist is Mr. Wakwe Emeka Charles. He's a Chief Financial Officer, Managing Partner, Finance and Tax Consultant. He has over 15 years of extensive experience spanning multiple industries, and he's a seasoned finance professional with a strong background in audit, taxation, financial analysis, and corporate strategies. He has spent over 5 years as an audit partner, providing in-depth financial advisory, risk management, and compliance solutions to businesses across various sectors. His expertise in audit and assurance has been instrumental in ensuring corporate governance and financial transparency for organizations. Previously, he served as group accountant at Orange Group, one of Lagos' leading real estate firm, where he managed financial reporting, budgeting, and strategic financial planning for 6 years. His leadership contributed to the company's growth and operational efficiency. He's a managing partner at Enchas Consulting, a firm specializing in financial advisory, taxation, and audit services. And he also plays a critical role in business consulting, tax planning, and financial compliance. Now, you may be wondering why we have a finance person coming to talk about critical illness insurance. There is a huge finance concern when it comes to critical illness insurance. The amount of money spent, the amount of savings that could go down the drain at one instant is enough for us to understand the financial aspect, and of course, what will stand to save when we have a critical illness insurance policy. So welcome, Mr. Emeka. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to everyone. And it's so good to be here. I thank you, Doctor, for the very wonderful presentation. I got a lot from your presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Our next panelist is Mr. Emmanuel Kayode. Mr. Emmanuel is a business analyst, strategic operations specialist, and executive advisor. Emmanuel is a results-driven business analyst and strategic operations professional with a strong background in management consulting, with a proven record of driving growth, operational efficiencies, and financial optimization across industries such as technology, oil and gas, agriculture, security, and manufacturing. He excels in delivering data-driven insights and actionable strategies. Currently serving as the executive assistant to the group managing director at the Jane Group, Emmanuel plays a pivotal role in stakeholder engagement, business performance analysis, and corporate strategy development. He was once a business analyst at Enzo Krypton and Company, where he managed high-value strategic projects and led operational restructuring efforts that have significantly improved efficiency and cost savings. Beyond his professional pursuits, Emmanuel is an engaging communicator who enjoys sharing insights on business leadership and faith. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Mr. Vincent. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to
Yeah.
be here.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I was discussing with some of my colleagues, and I know that attendees are wondering what Emmanuel brings to this conversation. And I mean, it's important to know that he's here also speaking from the perspective of those that this webinar is particularly or primarily targeted at, our millennials, our Gen Zs, so that we can even understand what the implication of critical illness insurance is for us in this category. Thank you once again, Emmanuel. Our next panelist is Esther Adekunle. Esther Adekunle is a seasoned insurance professional with expertise in business strategy, financial analysis, and strategic partnership. She has a strong track record in developing innovative insurance solutions. She has played a pivotal role in driving revenue growth, optimizing financial performance, and enhancing customer value through tailored insurance products. As a chartered accountant, Esther combines her deep knowledge of accounting and financial planning to help individuals and businesses make informed decisions about risk management and financial security. Her strategic approach ensures that organizations maximize their financial resilience in navigating uncertainties. Passionate about increasing awareness of insurance, Esther is dedicated to educating individuals and businesses on the critical role insurance plays in safeguarding financial stability during crisis. She remains committed to bridging the gap between financial security and accessibility through innovative solutions and strategic collaborations. Good morning, Esther.
Good
Nice
morning,
to have you here.
Vincent. Good morning, Vincent. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure being here this morning. Thank you.
All right. Just before we go into the questions for the panelists, I see some questions already in the Q&A session. Please keep asking your questions. We would answer them once we get to the question and answer section. Before we go to the questions for the panelists, I'd like to inform you, as I said earlier, that at this webinar or at the end of the webinar, we will be giving 5 vouchers to some of our attendees, right? So if you attend this webinar and you buy a critical illness insurance policy from Coronation Life Assurance, you stand a chance to win 20,000 Naira gift voucher. The weekend is almost here, so I know 20,000 Naira gift voucher could do a lot for you. So 5 people get to win 20,000 Naira gift voucher. And in addition, by buying a policy between today and tomorrow, you also qualify for our Insure and Win promo, which ends at the end of the month. So you can still stand a chance to win a brand new car and other household items just by buying an insurance policy from us. So if you're buying at this time, you're coming at the 11th hour and you still stand a chance to win. So we would launch a poll now to get those who are interested in buying any of our policies. If you're interested in buying a critical illness insurance policy, we'll launch a poll now. After the panel session, when you've also heard our panelists discuss it, you would also launch the poll just so that people can, just tell us if you're interested. We'll get your details and we'll reach out to you, and you'll make your purchase between today and tomorrow. You stand a chance. All right, 5 lucky people will win the 20,000 Naira gift voucher. So the poll is up on your screen. Just click if you are interested. If you're not interested, if you need to know more, just click on anything and we would reach out to you. While the poll is still on, the host can and the panelists can just minimize so that it doesn't disrupt their flow. But we would go on to the questions for our panelists. And our first question will start with Esther. The first question will be to you, Esther. As an insurance expert, would want to know exactly in simple terms. A lot has been said about critical illness insurance. A lot has been said by Dr. Obodo in his presentation. The talks about HMO. If you look at the Q&A section now, there's a lot about, oh, can I buy for my parents? Can I do this and that? A lot has been said about critical illness insurance and why it's important or why it's not, right? So in simple terms, really, what exactly is this critical illness insurance that we're talking about and how exactly does it work?
Okay, thank you, Vincent, for your question. Funny enough, I came across an Instagram reel yesterday, and it was by the Finance Academy. And the author said, that there are 4 strategies that you need to execute throughout your productive work life in order to build wealth. And I will just quickly summarize this before I go into the definition of critical illness and all. So the first thing he said number 1 is that make money. And how do you make money? You make money through your daily work, your businesses, side hustles, and other legal means. And the second one, he said, manage your money. And how do you manage money? You manage money through budgeting and planning. And the third one he said is that multiply money. So how do you multiply your money? You multiply your money through investments. And I'm proud to tell you that at Coronation Ecosystem, our sister company, Coronation Asset Management and Securities, they can actually help you to multiply your money. And that brings me to the fourth, which is why we are here today. Protect your money. And how do you protect your money? You protect your money through insurance and estate planning. And he actually said a funny remark. He said, after you must have pleaded the blood of Jesus on your money, you need to also protect your money through insurance. And he said, the rich folks have gotten this right. So this brings me to why we need to protect our money. The reason why we need to protect our money is because there are lots of things that happen, unplanned events that can actually wipe out our money if we are not diligent enough about this. And things like theft, fire and special perils, sicknesses and diseases, they can actually wipe out your money if you don't have adequate plan in place to cushion the effects of these unplanned events. And one thing about health and sicknesses and diseases is that, and the reason why critical illness insurance is very important, most especially for the Gen Zs, the millennials, and even the older folks, is because number 1, critical illness, we can describe it as your financial backup plan. And what do I mean by financial backup plan? Because when those things happen, you have a backup plan that helps you safeguard against your own finances, because you have shifted the burden to the insurance company. So it's not the insurance company that is paying at the events of these unplanned events. So for our own critical illness insurance plan, as our keynote speaker has rightly said, unlike the regular health insurance, which covers hospitalization bills, the medical treatment, and this is actually to a limit. Critical illness insurance plan actually give you a lump sum payout at the event of any critical illnesses, such as cancer, such as hypertension, coma, kidney failures, and the rest. And the payout is used to cover treatment, and you don't have to worry about finances. What you just need to focus your mind on is now how to recover. So critical illness condition, it normally requires a huge sum of money. Some even runs into millions of naira. And with this economy of ours right now, most people just focus on what to eat, how to just go out to their daily business and come back home. But when those things happen, do you have a financial backup plan that can help you protect against these events? So that is the reason why we're having this webinar this morning. And I can also tell you that, so how does it work? Coming back to Vincent's second question, how does it work? You reach out to a credible insurance company, such as Coronation Life Assurance Limited, to buy the plan. And when you buy the plan, you pay, there's something we call premium. That is the amount you are paying to get covered. So when you pay this, and funny enough, the payment is very flexible. It can be on a monthly basis, it can be on a quarterly basis, semi-annually, or even on annual basis, depending on your capability. So when you reach out to us, you pay the premium, and if peradventure you are diagnosed with any covered illness, you end up getting a lump sum payout, which you can use to cover treatment. And let me just quickly reiterate before I bring this to an end. What does critical illness insurance covers? It covers conditions such as heart attack, stroke, cancer, kidney failure, paralysis, coma, and the rest. So this is how this plan, that is in a layman's term, what critical illness insurance is all about and how it works. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esther. Really, really nice points. Just as you said, the plans are very affordable. It starts easily, which is why I'm looking at even the poll and the responses. You need to listen more, but you need to buy a critical illness insurance plan. It starts from around 10,000 naira, and the coverage is massive. So, and it's really better safe than sorry. I'll take my next question. I'll take my next question to Mr. Emeka. All right. And the next question is to you. And I just want you to quickly speak on what we find in our society today. Many young people believe that they are too young to need critical illness insurance. Gen Zs, millennials, over my dead body, it can't be me. They believe they are too young to need a critical illness insurance policy. They focus instead on savings and investment. In fact, we have reports from reputable financial institutions that talk about how Nigerians within the age of 18 to 26 are more inclined to savings, even savings than investment. They contribute a lot into savings, a lot of young people in Nigeria. Now, why is this mindset risky? Why is it a risky mindset to focus more on savings and investment and not insurance, right? How should they balance insurance with other financial priorities like investing or home ownership, which is what a lot of young people are keen to. They want to save, they want to buy cars, buy a home. Makes sense. It's good, but how is it risky to not have a critical illness insurance plan while trying to even save and invest? Over to you, Mr. Emek. Okay. Since it looks like Mr. Emeka has some network issues, just before he comes, then we'll move straight to Mr. Emmanuel Kayode. So I'll ask you a question around millennials and Gen Zs, right? All about wellness. You probably even go to the gym. So, and a number of people on this call are going to the gym. They've gone to the gym this morning or probably go this evening. There's Fit Farm. A lot of young people walking around with very, very fancy water bottles today and eating healthy and all those kind of stuff. So yes, millennials and Gen Zs are all about wellness, gym membership, organic food, and self-care. Now, there's still a part of what the typical Nigerian will call in December what they used to call oble, right? There's a part where they have to go out and have fun and do all kind of stuff. And then there is a concern about fake drinks, environmental toxins, stress, and even workplace burnouts, right? Workplace burnout is also an issue. Young people today, even with the fact that they try to look after themselves, they still face a certain amount of risk. In 2024 alone in Lagos, NAFDAC seized around 500 million naira worth of fake drinks. It was 750 million in the Southeast. In Nigeria, as of November 2024, 2 billion worth of a counterfeit alcoholic company in Lagos worth 2 billion naira was clamped down by NAFDAC. So even with the fact that we go to gym, we're all about wellness, there is still exposure to a high level of risk. Now, with this in mind, how do you think we can shift that mindset that critical illness insurance is not only for old people? And what would you say to millennials and Gen Zs to key into critical illness insurance?
All right. I'm laughing because I've been a victim, to be very honest. And I think we genuinely need a shift in mindset, to be very honest. Why? Because many young Nigerians, including myself, before believes that serious illnesses like cancer, stroke, kidney failure, name it, there are things that happen to older people. But as I grow older within my age group as a millennial, I'll just say, oh, a friend of mine died. What can you do? He had a heart attack. Like, I saw this guy 2 weeks ago. So over time, I think it's becoming very important for us to also understand that illnesses, whether critical, whether not critical, is part of the things that happens as we grow up. I mean, so it's very important that, I mean, even the rise in high blood pressure. I mean, a couple of months ago, I was in the hospital and then they checked my blood pressure and then doctor had asked me what do I do? I had to explain, a couple of things happen. At the same time, I mean, these things are happening. Diabetics, sudden cardiac arrest among your professionals. I mean, it tells us that our environment and our lifestyle, because majority of us probably work 9 to 5. You sit down, you want to work. Before I got my current role, I was working fully remote, except a couple of times. So I probably sit down all day. And the kind of work I do sometimes, you probably have to sit down and fix your system from morning to evening. In fact, I forget to eat. So the truth is, we need to understand our lifestyle choices is actually taking a toll on us. And we need to actually get to that point. And I think the most important thing we need to hear also is now, first things first, we need to normalize these conversations of health risk among young people. Young people need to come to understand that we are not immune to health risk. I mean, if you go to Twitter, you probably see sudden fundraising campaign for young individuals battling life-threatening illnesses. Why not then we just plan ahead rather than relying on emergency donations? Yes, I understand that there are things that happen that you cannot control, but if insurances, and I believe for a generation that we believe that we are enlightening, I think it's very important for us to make tremendous use of the knowledge that we have. Why? Because now we are enlightening, we understand things, we know things are working. Then we should understand that health coverage is actually part of our wellness routine. Just like we do gym membership, and we try to eat our organic food, try to cut down calories. We need to start preparing for a long-term well-being so that we have to enjoy the money we're working for. An average young person is probably working 2-3 jobs. Has the 9 to 5, then has the 5 to 9. Then in fact, some people have 9 to 1 a.m. So if you are going to enjoy what you are making money with the money you're making, then you probably have to plan for your health. Because most of the time, health challenges are not planned for. So the second thing I want to say, actually, we also must redefine what we mean by health security. So most of the time, people believe that when they are feeling good, they are fine. I mean, I've had times where I probably go for a random medical checkup and I feel very good, but it's a routine. And I go there and they're like, oh, bros, your what's it called? Your BP is high. And I'm asking, but I'm fine. And then I check and got like, there's this, your sugar level is high, this and that. So I think it's something we need to actually redefine. That is not a feel-good factor alone. Sometimes check yourself. And so save you money. I mean, even nowadays that I get to go to the hospital consistently, I understand how much insurance is saving me. If I had gone for some of those visits alone without health insurance, I'll probably have spent double. Which one is double? Maybe times 3 or times 5 of what I spent. So I think it's high time we start having that conversation. It's not just to feel good. Critical illness insurance ensures that if a major health issue arises, you're financially secure to handle without draining your assets. I'm funny enough to be let me confess. I think I wish I knew about this some 2 years ago when my mom had a major health care. It drained my savings. The money you saved, it drained it. So and I think the last thing is I like real life stories. I mean, maybe when we probably get to see more young people talk about what they've been through, you see a lot of people look healthy out there. But are they really healthy? Really healthy. I mean, just like you mentioned, we have burnout. A couple of days ago, it's called that. If I don't take my leave anytime soon, I might just have to because we work hard a lot and it's good. I mean, it's an amazing generation. I think kudos to our generation. We want to battle poverty. You look at poverty in the face and say, poverty, it's not me and you. I'll break over it. But at the same time, please, let's plan for contingencies, things that we cannot necessarily consider. So I think it's that time we actually listen to people, learn from other people's mistake. Don't use your own mistake. Do you get my point? It's easier to hear other people's stories. Get yourself checked up early. Just like we were discussing, get a critical illness insurance. I mean, it's quite affordable from what I've been hearing. I mean, I've been doing a couple of research about it. I was like, okay, so this thing is quite affordable. Because some of us spend 15K, 20K in a sitting to eat. In the days you go on, maybe the days you decide to go and spoil yourself. Maybe not all the time. Do you get my point? So it's something you can part with and not feel it. So I think the goal should be that we should be proactive rather than being reactive on the matter. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for that wonderful point. I mean, you said a lot. I just took some note. We are not immune. We young people, we are not immune. There is no automatic immunity that comes from being a Gen Z or being a millennial to chronic illnesses. It happens to anybody, and of course, there are statistics to back that it's happening more frequently to even young people. And of course, we're supposed to be the woke generation. We're supposed to be the enlightened generation, and we need to use that knowledge to know that critical illness insurance is. I mean, it's not a stigma. It's something that you actually should need. Before I come to you, Mr. Emeka, I just quickly want to, in that same line, ask Dr. Obodo, right? Dr. Obodo, if you're here, I just want to ask you a question around something that Emmanuel has just said, which is many millennials and Gen Zs, right? Just as I said, they prioritize fitness and wellness. But from your perspective as a medical doctor and from, I mean, your expertise in handling, in managing chronic illnesses, how important is having a critical illness insurance as part of your overall health plan, right? Because Emmanuel had also mentioned the fact that, of course, he goes for checkups, HMOs cover that health insurance plans, the regular health insurance plan. But from your experience, how important is it to have a critical illness insurance policy as part of your overall health insurance plan?
Okay, thank you very much for asking that. If we have on a scale of 1 to 10, I mean, we should be talking about at least 7, 8 and above, all right? That's actually how crucial it is. Most people are, yes, we have a lot of awareness. People are being told, track your health, do this, do that to help to improve your health, drink water and all. But the honest truth is some conditions can actually still occur. There could be some form of mutation that while this person was very young, they had this, they were exposed to this maybe carcinogen or whatever, and this now finally manifests when this finally manifested when they were older. All right, so you see in this case, your lifestyle and every other thing may not really yes, they help to improve your health, help you to stay healthy, but at the same time, some of these things can actually happen without not minding whatever you've been doing. Okay, so for example, I think I mentioned earlier on about diabetes. Yes, there's a genetic predisposition to that. So if someone's parents are diabetic, there's a likelihood of the person having the condition. All right. So if the person have any condition, I think recently there was a patient we managed. Just little by little started having numbness and pains and in her feet, and subsequently when she came to the hospital, we properly examined her, realized that this woman actually has diabetic foot ulcer. Doppler scan was done, which further showed that she had vascular diseases, all right, which of course, diabetes, they can affect the vessels, making it difficult for blood supply to properly get to certain regions. So with this, blood scanning actually showed that, okay, it's not just at the level of that foot, okay, this was actually way up. So when you're talking about, and the person was duly counseled by the pediatric surgeon for an amputation. So these are like little things. The person can still go about with the activities, look normal, but if this is not, if she didn't come to the hospital and it wasn't properly diagnosed and as it wasn't suggested as well for her for the application process, it would have been very, very terrible because she would have just gone ahead, maybe using local, traditional, whatever to treat herself, taking antibiotics, cleaning the wound while the infection keeps growing and all. All right. So these are the kind of cases that if this person had critical insurance,
yeah,
definitely, they could have cover the cost of whatever that needs to be done for them. All right. So that's how real or how serious these things can be. So as much as it's important to maintain a healthy lifestyle, also have like a backup plan. It's just a wise thing to do. Just in case of any eventuality, you can be properly treated. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Obodo. Thank you for that. We'll just move now to Mr. Emeka. If you can hear me, I'd ask you a question around, from your experience as a financial consultant, about how many young people today believe that they're too young to need a critical illness insurance. They focus rather on savings and investments. And I was trying to ask, how risky is this mindset, particularly because today we see over 5 million young people saving with savings apps and banks and all annually in Nigeria today. A lot of young people, I'm sure every young person on this call has one investment account or savings account somewhere, right? Now, with the eagerness we take to save and invest, we don't see that same zeal in buying insurance policies, particularly critical illness insurance. Now, do you think it's a very risky approach to living life? In addition to, of course, their investment priorities, which is home ownership, financial priorities, including investing, just having cars, having other important things of life, and excluding a critical illness insurance. How risky do you think that is, and what do you think can be done about that?
Okay, thank you very much. I want to start by giving a very, very big standing ovation to Coronation for this enlightenment campaign. So I'll go straight to the point. I think I am someone that I love listening to music a lot, and I love anything that has to do with the media, but there are some things I copy that I take critical analysis of. I know there are a lot of the millennials and the Gen Zs here, and there's this song by, I think, Wiz Khalifa, and I think the title of that song was Wild and Free. And in that song, he was promoting drugs and the rest. And I wonder the number and the exposure of our Gen Zs and our millennials to all of these campaigns that could lead to health challenges. Now, from research, there is this general belief that young people they are not easily exposed to those critical illness, that those critical illnesses like stroke, liver disease, diabetes, kidney disease, that they only come at old age. But it's not true. One, I am not against making money, a lot of money. I'm not against making wealth, but the risk by our Gen Zs and the millennials, when the focus is on making wealth, having savings, and the rest, the risk there is when it gets to an unexpected time, because it can happen at any time. One could be diagnosed of any ailment at any time. But when it gets to that and it's coming all of a sudden, the thing is that that same wealth that must have been acquired over time, even the big houses, the cars, and all of that, that same wealth that has been acquired over time will be depleted by a critical ailment, that has been diagnosed. For instance, imagine walking to the hospital, on a day and being told by the doctor that, oh, the result of a particular test shows that the patient has kidney failure, for instance, that are symptoms of kidney failure or any liver-related disease and all of that. Let me not even talk of the huge expenses on those health procedures and the rest like that. So most of the time it runs into millions, it runs into millions of naira. We see a lot of celebrities. If top celebrities can come online and begging Nigerians to make contributions, that will tell us a lot about the lack of plans, that they had at the past. So to summarize, why it's very, very important to make plans, for wealth and all of that, it is also very, very critical to set aside, health insurance plan, critical health insurance plan, for the future, so that if it happens, when the unforeseen happens, you don't have to start, going to social media to start begging Nigerians. You have this level of independence, and our insurance scheme, get you covered. So that's the risk that is hedged against. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Emeka. Just as you said, wealth can go down the drain. All the wealth you're trying to accumulate can go down the drain if you do not protect your wealth by getting a critical illness insurance policy. Even as Esther said, one of the 4 ways to sustain your wealth, protecting it, using a critical illness insurance policy. Now, I would go to Esther for my next question, right? And just before that, there is a report, Esther, from I think the National Library of Medicine that talked about the number of critical illnesses that we have in Nigeria. For instance, there are 72,000 cancer deaths in Nigeria annually. 72,000 cancer deaths occur annually in Nigeria. 102,000 new cases are diagnosed from, of course, the 200 million people we have in Nigeria. 102,000 new cases of cancer are diagnosed from the 200 million people we have in Nigeria. Now, with that in mind, we still find many young people assuming that their employer's health coverage is enough, right? So I want you to speak from a perspective of course, one who's understand the critical illness insurance policy a lot, and who's seen cases of claims, cases of people who really need a critical illness insurance policy. A lot of people assume that their employer's coverage, a lot of people just say, I'm sure a lot of people on this call are still saying, I have a HMO plan, I don't need a critical illness insurance policy. Now, what are the gaps, right, that critical illness insurance can fill, even with your regular HMO? What are the gaps that the critical illness insurance can fill?
Okay, thank you for that question, Vincent. Let me say, employers' health coverage is not enough. Nobody should just set their mind at that. Although it is a valuable initiative by most employers that they get HMO, though not all, but most companies, they actually provide health insurance plans for their staff. But however, these plans, they have their limitations. And until you find yourself in some situation, that is when you will realize that this is not enough. So looking at it, for most HMOs, when you look at the standard plan or maybe the regular plans, you see that, okay, maybe for example, a plan of maybe 100,000 in a year, the limit you have is just like maybe let's say 2 million naira or thereabouts that you are being covered against. And every how do I put it? The medical team knows the better term. Every condition has a limit. So if you are going for a malaria test or something, it has a limit. Even the critical illness plan that you see on those HMO plans, they have limits. And these limits are very small. So you may be happy right now that, okay, when you go to the hospital, you get covered for malaria, the other medical tests you want to do. But until we find ourselves in some situation, that is when you will realize that, oh, I could have done better. I could have gotten this plan when I was advised to get one. So because most HMO plans, they actually cover hospital-related costs up to a limit. And most of them, they don't include critical illnesses such as cancer. It may actually cover maybe you detecting the disease, but for the advanced treatments, most of these HMO plans, they don't cover this condition. So there was actually an example of someone that was very close to me, and unfortunately, she was diagnosed with cancer, and she actually started treatment. When she went to the hospital, she was happy that her HMO plan covered the first initial stage, but she needed advanced treatment. And HMO company said, sorry, this plan is not covered. So that led her to start spending her life savings. And just as Mr. Emeka said earlier, it can actually drain your life savings. All those money that you have kept in your piggyvest, Cowrywise, or other saving platforms. Before you know it, because you want to just feel fine, you start spending the life savings. And this was a situation she found herself. After spending all her life savings, she had to still call on to friends and family members for help. And nobody wishes to find themselves in this kind of situation. So we should not just rely on HMO plans. Having a critical illness plan will actually go a long way to help you cover for your advanced treatment. And you also can testify to it. A lot of people come on social media and the rest, their family members sending their pictures online that's, oh, calling for help, or a GoFundMe campaign that's, okay, please assist this and this. We actually feel the pity and everything, but I feel the sorry situation can actually be aborted if there was adequate plan in place to safeguard against this thing. And even our celeb, just as Mr. Emeka mentioned, and that is true. A lot of people come online, they start calling on to their colleague and they start expressing their view that they have been abandoned by their colleagues, their friends, and all, start calling onto the public for help. And I feel that this webinar should also be a cry to the entertainment industry that they should start encouraging artists, actors, and the rest to take up this plan. So no, but I don't wish that anybody should find themselves in this situation, but for us to have a financial backup plan, that is the reason why we need to get this plan right now, especially when we are young. As during the keynote speaker note, we saw that, okay, this plan is, you pay a lower premium when you are younger. So the best time to get this plan is right now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Esther. I mean, you really said so much there, especially with, I mean, concurrent with what Mr. Emeka had said. We see a lot of celebrities come online to ask, oh, I need this money to handle this critical illness. We do not obviously wish critical illness on anyone, but these things happen, and it's better safe than sorry. I mean, the economic situation of the country or even the world is tight for people to even begin to support and all that, right? So it's important. It's important that we get people who understand this and are able to even avoid scenarios where they have to come online, where they have to launch GoFundMe accounts and all that, just because they need to treat a critical illness that comes up. All right, we'll move to our next question. We'll be starting with Emmanuel on this, all right? We want to talk about black taxes. Let's talk about black taxes. I know it's something that's very familiar with a lot of young people, and particularly maybe people on the call. Now, this is shocking that according to the World Bank, 30% of Nigerians over the age of 15 pay domestic remittances, often known as black tax. This is as of 2021, right? 30% of Nigerians over the age of 15. You know the popular slang where you say we leave home to feed home. It happens, I mean, in a country where we have people who are young people who hawk on the street, young people who get into work early enough. A lot of people are already breadwinners at very young age. Now, over 4 in 5 Nigerians earning an income, it's more like if you have a salary, you already begin to pay black tax. This is as of 2023, over 4 in 5 Nigerians. So 4 in 5 people on this call who earn salaries already have what they contribute back home. Now, 83% of Nigerians who pay back taxes, 56% pay it monthly, 27% pay it occasionally, and all that. Now, there are also scenarios where a family member, it couldn't be you, it may not be you. You probably already have a wellness lifestyle, fitness, you do this gym stuff, you eat healthy and all that stuff. And then there's an older family member who falls short, right? And there's a sudden illness, and then they come to you and say, oh, please help. And then you have to bring all your savings to help, because I mean, we're in Africa and there's that obligation, that moral obligation to help family members. Now, between these kind of black taxes, right? Students' loan, the rising cost of living. We know that today's price is not tomorrow's price again. Young people, young professionals particularly, already feel financially stretched, right? There are already people who tell you today that my salary is not enough, what I earn is not enough. I'm still trying to save, make ends meet, and they're working really good jobs. I mean, they come out of the house looking all sharp every day. Now, how can we make critical illness insurance a priority where there are so many competing financial demands? There are a lot of things that are asking for your money. You want to do a degree, you want to do a course, you have to pay rent, and then there's family, there's black tax. How do we make critical illness insurance a priority with these different competing financial demands?
Okay. This is genuinely, I think the question was fully directed to me. So I think very important to know that I think an average young Nigerian guy, male or female, is actually under a serious financial pressure. I mean, from the very first salary you receive, you probably already start supporting home. I mean, if you have siblings, call you. In fact, they probably know the day your salary is being paid, and they immediately just see a test and this and that. So black tax really is one major part of almost every young person. If you live in this side of the world, you're earning, basically. And I know people would say sometimes prioritize yourself, but at the same time, we need to be aware of the situation. Most of the time, it's not just easy to turn your back on your family member, especially when you know that they cannot afford it. Some of us went to school, or some people, you went to school, you know that you had to, you know how you had to sort yourself out, you know, in that sense. So you know when they ask for these things, they genuinely need it. And yes, you yourself have to pay your rent and the transportation cost. I mean, you're trying to save for your future so that, you know, you can take your family out of family. But I think the main question we need to now ask genuinely is, if you look at the cost of of insurance and the cost of these things that you spend, can you afford not to have insurance? You know, 2021, I just fell ill and I thought it was just malaria. So I did self prescription, just went to the pharmacy, got anti-malaria, and I used it. And nothing was changing. So just one evening, I just said, wait, let me go to the hospital that is close to my house. So I went there. I was living in Ibadan then, and I got there. For me to get there, one thing, do this test, do that test. Boom, I couldn't walk. So I was diagnosed with partial stroke. You know, it was a very funny scenario. Thank God for, just like, you know, we've discussed, thank God for, you know, good Samaritans, good people we helped out with the bill. But I spent roughly a week or so there, the amount, what the bills accrued to. So now the question is, can you not afford insurance? So most of the time, genuinely, because if you look at it, when people call you, aside from maybe basic things, based on maybe you have siblings, you send monthly upkeep to, they are in school, you probably pay school fees. Majority of black tax has a lot to do with health conditions. And if you look at these things, I mean, critical illness expenses it runs into millions of naira. You know, all these things, if you put all of these things together, we need to get ourselves to a point where I think I need to get insurance. And what I discovered in the past couple of months is that insurance is more affordable than I think, or than we think. So in the long run, to save yourself from the black tax that will be coming from health, you know, health-related thing, why not just get insurance? And thank God for the fact that there are group plans in this insurance. I mean, group insurance plans. I think it's very important that we get ourselves to a point where, in the long run, is the planning that matter. No matter how very careful you are in life, you cannot be too careful. You cannot be extremely careful. There are always things that will happen outside of your purview. And if there are things you can do to mitigate the extreme effects of the things that will happen outside of your purview, then you should do it. Because the truth is, the long run, I mean, a couple of us probably have Netflix subscription, data subscription, you pay for Spotify. Someone like me, I do YouTube a lot. I don't want to see YouTube, so you do YouTube, you pay for YouTube. Some people even do Prime Video. From Prime Video, you do DSTV. So you end up subscribing for these things. So why not subscribe for something that will save you a lot of financial losses in the future? It don't cost a lot, because after I add all these things together, and I figured out that in the long run, subscriptions in that sense, they save us more money. Some of them, just let me give you an example before I just nip this in the bud. Is if you look at the idea of even subscription for most of these things, to subscribe for Netflix, Prime Video, and the reason why subscription saves you a lot of money is because if you have to pay for each of the movie one by one, if you actually watch a lot of movie, at the end of the money, most likely have paid like times 4 of whatever you pay on subscription. But subscription saves, that same way health insurance saves us. So I think it had to get to a point, just like I said earlier, the mindset shift is very necessary. And I will tell you, sir, or everybody on the call, a lot of us think health insurance was expensive, to be very honest. Growing up, I thought insurance was extremely expensive because the way it was described to me growing up, I mean, as a teenage boy growing up, I was like, insurance, hey. So a lot of us think it's expensive. So whatever we have to do to get a lot of people to get a lot of young people, to get to the point where they actually see, instead of seeing insurance as an extra expense, see it as a financial backup plan that prevents bigger financial disaster. I mean, my mom once fell sick and I spent all the money I have in the world on one sickness. To be very honest, if this insurance was available at that point in time, I'm sure I would not have spent half of what was in the account. If peradventure we exceeded the limit. So the point is, we need to spend more money in securing our ability and our future. And I think it's actually important if more agitations, more things can go into people understanding that, see, this thing is for you. Because black tax will forever be there. You can't escape it. Except you grew up with gold spoon or silver spoon, or you grew up as a trust fund baby. But if you don't, you need it. Thank you very much.
Wow. I mean, it's so emotional. Yeah, it's very deep, and I'm sorry about all that you had to go through. And I'm happy now that you have the awareness about the necessary insurance policies, and we'll get Esther to talk about the affordability shortly. But just before that, I want Mr. Emeka to also speak to this from the angle of a finance person. I'm sure, as a finance expert, just as, the same question that Emmanuel has answered, healthcare costs are rising, right? I'm sure that from where you see it, you see a lot of people spending more money. If you have to approve budgets and approve expenses for healthcare, I'm sure you'll be worrying why the cost is increasing every day. Healthcare costs obviously are rising. Medical emergencies are coming up as often as possible. In 2023, 11 people were hospitalized after drinking a counterfeit alcoholic drink in Ogun State, right? And so imagine their family just waking up one morning and say, bring money, this person is in the hospital, all their savings just wiped away. So my question to you is, what role would critical illness insurance play, right, in protecting young professionals from sudden financial burden, right? So from where you sit as a financial expert, how do you think critical illness insurance can help young people, Gen Zs, millennials, overcome sudden financial burden? Over to you. I would appreciate you can just keep this within 3 minutes quickly. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. So, yes, talking about this, the concept, for instance, of the black tax reminds me of a popular song by Victor Age. The title of that song was Waiting We Gain. There's a point in that song that one of the lyrics was that phone they ring, go, na family they call. Though. So that is one part of the song that I think deeply on that. So in place like Nigeria, especially, we have this dependence where you have a large family member depending on your meager income, So the roles that critical health insurance plays is one, it eases that black tax. It eases it for young professionals like that, so that where such events, unforeseen events occurs, the insurance, takes away that burden. Then apart from that, again, you have this rest of mind. You have this rest of mind, like if one is diagnosed with any of those critical diseases, you don't get to worry about the disease and also worry about how to treat it. Your critical health insurance take care of that. All you focus on is your healing process. You don't have to, start bothering yourself or where do I get the money. Even the thought of that, can even make your condition even worse. So those are two key areas. Then another very key one again is that like all of us, we have said over and over again, it prevents that loss of income, so where, as a result of a sudden diagnosis, you have to start depleting your savings or depleting your investment. All of that is saved. So at the end, you still have your money to take care of yourself, and you have money to take care of your your dependents, your family members, and your extended family should the unforeseen happen. So that's the.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Emeka. As he said, I mean, the thought of having to cover for financial expenses in a scenario like this would worsen the situation of any critical illness rather than even healing. So it's important to get a critical illness insurance policy to even so you focus on your recovery while the insurance company focuses on paying the bills, which really makes sense. Now, we will move straight to Esther on our next question. Young people want to see very clear benefits before making financial commitment. Now, this explains why in Nigeria today, there are more young people who save rather than invest, right? In fact, from a report in one of the financial institutions, only about 2% or 0.2% in a year we're investing, while around 14% of the people who are young people we are saving. So more young people typically want to see immediate benefits. They want to know, I mean, before they make any financial commitment, is this worth it or is this not worth it? Now, what are some of the immediate and long-term advantages of having a critical illness plan that they may not realize? I also want you to talk about the affordability, right? I think that could also be a benefit. And also, I mean, what they get to pay and what kind of coverage they get in return if, I mean, in the case of a critical illness case. Over to you, Esther.
Okay, thank you for that question. And I can really relate to that because I'm also part of the millennials and this is my generation. And one question we always ask ourselves is that what is in it for me? If I'm paying for something, what am I getting in return? Everybody always wants to have answers to that question. And let me just break it down for both the immediate benefits and also the long-term benefits that you tend to enjoy from buying this policy. Okay, so for the immediate benefits, if you are to look at it, you knowing that you have actually prepared a financial backup plan, you have actually prepared for something, it gives a peace of mind. You enjoy this peace of mind that, okay, if anything happens peradventure, I am covered. So this, because we don't know when a health crisis might strike. We don't know when any events can happen. And you are not left financially stranded, even if it happens, because you have actually prepared for this. And one thing about insurance company is that you are shifting the burden to us, and we are always happy to bear this burden. So you have this peace of mind that if peradventure anything happens, the insurance company is going to cater for this. And critical illness insurance, it makes you, just as Mr. Emeka said earlier, you focus on your recovery process. If peradventure the sickness happens, so you are able to focus on your recovery process, and not just you, even for your family members, your relatives, they will have time, more time to spend with you in that situation. A lot of people die because they feel lack of love, lack of support when they find themselves in this condition. So if, for example, you are actually in the hospital and maybe your relatives, they cannot be there because they're actually going around helter-skelter looking for money to help you pay the hospital bills, to help you cover the treatment. You may feel abandoned and nobody is even coming to stay with me, to check up on me or anything. But if there is actually a plan in place, you have bought the critical illness, what you just need is that, okay, send a notification to your insurance company that, okay, this and this has happened. And your family member, they don't need to start running helter-skelter. You have the full support. Everybody is there to stay with you, to give you the moral support, and recovery is way faster in this situation. So, because when a patient feels support, when they feel the love of people, when they get the moral support, they want to get on their feet back in time. So that is one advantage that people need to look at when getting this plan, the peace of mind, and also your focus on your recovery process, and also the moral support you're able to get from your family members when this happens. So when we want to look at the long-term benefits, we have been talking about this. It is a financial backup plan. If peradventure those unplanned sicknesses happen, you don't need to start draining your life savings to cover this event. So you are not forced to start taking loan or start calling on to people that are calling for assistance here and there, and you are not getting any. So if you have a safety net in place, you don't drain your finances, because normally savings is not easy. Everybody wants to just enjoy the moment. We want to spend on this, we want to spend on that. And if you are now taking your financial goal so seriously, and instead of that proxy that you want to get, a medical expense is now coming to take that money, nobody will be happy with this. So for the long term, you are able to focus on your financial goals. That asset you want to get, you're able to focus on it. So because you have already pushed the burden to the insurance company. And this is what most people don't even know about. When you are young, you are healthy, it means you are paying lower premiums. But if you wait until you are way older or develop health issues, getting insured may be kind of more expensive or even impossible. So the best time to get this plan is right now, when we are still millennials, Gen Zs. It's not as if older people cannot get this plan. Everybody can get this plan. Everybody, anyone can get this plan. So let me now come to the affordability of this plan. For the price of, funny enough and surprisingly, for the price of a pizza, that the smallest pizza or even the medium size that you can buy or order for, let's say you can actually get this plan. Let's say, for example, 10,000 naira, you can actually use it to get a coverage amount of close to 2 million naira. And if you want something higher, for 20,000 naira in a year, you can get something close to 2 million and the rest. So all of this, you have to put all of this into consideration when you want to get this plan. And as you are planning for your financial goals, it's better to also plan for your financial backup plan. So it's better to just, and for me, I feel that to be diligent about something, you have to be very deliberate about it. So if you want to buy this plan and you feel that, okay, you want to be paying on a monthly basis, for example, you can just make provision with your bank, a direct debit mandate, that, okay, immediately my salary comes in, just remove this amount from my salary. You have given the insurance company the mandate that, okay, this money is going to, so it ease the financial stress on you. You don't have to start thinking about it, because you are giving a mandate to your bank that, okay, pay so premiums to Coronation Life Assurance PLC for this plan. And we were talking earlier about black taxes, and I really resonate with this. For your parents, you can actually get this plan for them. This is a big solution to all of those black taxes that most people don't like. Nobody likes black taxes because we want to focus on ourselves and on our financial goals. So you can just make it a deliberate plan that, okay, for my mom, for my dad, for that my uncle that sponsored me to school, or any other of your loved ones, that's okay. Let me get the premium so I want to cover them to so amount of money. I get the premium from Coronation Life Assurance Limited, and you pay. So in case if anything happens, if they just reach out to you that, oh, so person is in the hospital, we want to pay for this bill or that, you just contact your insurance company and they get covered. So it shows you how affordable this plan is, even lesser than most HMO plans sometimes, because you get higher premium, higher coverage amount. So I would just encourage everyone on this call that you should plan towards this and get this plan right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Esther. Really nice point. For the price of a box of pizza, you can get a critical illness insurance and get coverage of up to 1 million naira for 10,000 naira. And then even down up to 50,000 naira, get a coverage of up to 5 million naira. And down up to 100,000 naira coverage a year. This is one-off payment of a year. It gets coverage of up to 10 million naira. So the point again is, if you send out, if you're not thinking of buying for yourself, you're also thinking of buying for your loved ones, your older ones, your family, your immediate family. For me, the simple hack is, if there's someone you love that you can't stand through going through some pains and it would make you break your savings and investment for, just buy the person a critical illness insurance, just in case, right? Just in case, so that you, when anything happens, if anything happens, you are safe, and you don't have to break the bank to help the person. So well done on that, Esther. Now we have a lot of questions in the Q&A, and we'll go there shortly. I just want to take this question for Dr. Chukwuka Obodo, right? Doctor, I want you to quickly just share a real life case where someone without critical illness coverage faced financial or medical difficulties that could have been avoided. They've all talked about scenarios. I know that Emmanuel has given us a real life scenario, but I want you to, from your experience as a medical doctor, what you have seen, is there a real life case of someone who faced a critical illness insurance, critical illness problem that an insurance coverage would have helped out?
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. A story always comes to mind. So I had this patient that was in 2022. Okay. Of course, afterwards we became very good friends. He was a fitness enthusiast. All right. Very diligent with his, exercise, workouts, water, diet and all. But at a point, he came to the hospital and complained of passage of loose stool and vomiting. Okay. Of course, every doctor would think it's just gastroenteritis. All right. He was dehydrated, given some medications, and I was allowed home. Afterwards, like 5 days later, he came back to the hospital, the same thing. All right, so this persisted for a very long period. And he was now referred to see a gastroenterologist. So the gastroenterologist did some scoping and then realized that what he had was ulcerative colitis. All right, so ulcerative colitis is just is an inflammatory process on the intestine. All right, causing wound and ulcer. So the person is eating normally when you eat and the intestine, you have like the villus that help, help to absorb the food nutrients. So if these are lost due to wounds, because when you talk about ulcer, referring to wounds, all right, it's going to be very difficult for the person to properly absorb anything. So just like a basket, if you have anything you're taking, it's almost like going through, it's going down. So the person will be stooling, and of course, occasionally, they also have vomiting. All right, so from one treatment, the other medications, steroids and what have you not, he spent a lot. This is someone that when you talk about financial stability, he was okay. All right, but this really drained him and he didn't have any form of health insurance or critical health insurance to cover him up. So it was very challenging for him. Good thing, I mean, he's very much okay now, all right. But I mean, nobody even told him, all right, to start to enroll into an insurance package, and because of that single experience. So he just one out of many people, all right. Another one, if you allow me, okay, my dad, in 2016, he had stroke, all right, and that was the first time he was diagnosed of hypertension. So a bit of the background, my dad was a military man, all right, joined military far back 1978. After 20 years of service, he left, and he just woke up. He was okay, went for normal meeting on a Sunday. Then on a Monday, he wanted to wake up. He couldn't. He tried, as a military man, like, what is happening? Like, he tried and he fell. My mom saw him, like, what's going on? So like that, they took him to the hospital, and his blood pressure was high, started doing investigations and everything. So this really put a lot of financial stress in my family. Then I was still a medical student. I was like my third year, all right. So I didn't have any coverage. So all the expenses and everything was paid out of pocket, of course, support from family members. So this happens every day. The problem we have in Nigeria, and of course, I don't know if I would say just our mentality, we believe that nothing bad can happen to us. We believe, when you see something happening to someone, just say, this is not my portion, all right? But until it happens to the person, and in some cases, it might even happen to you twice, so that you know that the first one that happened was not like an error, a mistake. So this is very much common. It's important for us to really do this. And like I always mention, run your routine health check, all right? Take care of your health so that you don't end up spending the money that you've worked so hard for on your health. Get a health insurance package, and of course, properly track. For those that are hypertensive or diabetic, it's important to track, because the reason why people have complications from these ailments is because of poor compliance. Poor compliance could be from not taking their medications, not running their routine health check, not keeping track with their doctors, or even not checking their vitals. You see patients, they only take their medications. And next time you're seeing them, like in 6 months' time, and they're coming down with sugar level of 400 or something, all right? If this person was tracking these vitals, it would have been known, all right? And the person would have sought help on time, and, properly being helped as well. So it's also something I'm also looking at, working out with Coronation sometime. Let's see how we collaborate together to have a proper health tracking system as a package or a premium for someone that enrolled into your health insurance, your insurance. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Bodo. I mean, it's always important to share real life examples like that, just to encourage people and to let people understand that, just as I think it was Emmanuel who said that we're not naturally immune to chronic illnesses because we are Gen Zs or we're millennials. We're not naturally immune at all. It happens to anyone, and it could obviously, of course, happen to anybody. The situation now is, when or if it happens, are you prepared? Are you prepared for it? Now, I'll quickly ask a question to Emmanuel, because particularly Emmanuel has been speaking a lot from the perspective of a millennial or Gen Z, trying to, bring this whole conversation down home. So, Emmanuel, my question to you would be, if you had to pitch critical illness insurance to a young person who thinks that they are too young to worry, what would you say? I mean, perhaps all the gospel we've been preaching on today's call is not enough, right? And you had to do an elevator pitch, 1 to 2 minutes, to a young person who thinks they are too young to get a critical illness insurance. What would you say? How does it fit into a long-term financial plan? How can it help millennials and Gen Zs build lasting wealth and security? So in 1 to 2 minutes, if you were to give a pitch, what would you say?
Okay, this one is this one looks like okay, so I think I will start, like, if it was a 1 to 2 minute speech, I think it's best to start like talking to whoever I'm talking to. Health issues don't send a warning before they arrive, right? You insure your car, your phone, even gadgets. I mean, why not insure your health for financial stability? So I also talk to them about the fact that they should think about it as a safety net for their future. To be very honest, if you have to get seriously ill today, will you have enough savings to cover the months or even years if the medical bill is going to last for that long? So see critical illness as insurance that provide a lump sum total payout that ensures that you can afford your treatment and still maintain your quality of life. Quality of life is very important. And to be very honest, I think I also see it as part of a key part of wealth building, right? Because most people see wealth creation as just investment or savings, but something that can protect what you're saving or you're investing on is actually a part of your wealth building. So you cannot say that you are investing in your future without actually protecting what you're building. So critical health insurance definitely against major illnesses definitely helps you. It can force you to actually have a safe space in protecting you from debt, to be very honest. And the next thing I'll probably tell the person, also start young and pay less. If they start early enough, if luck is on your side, in quotes now, in the context of this conversation, you probably don't have to worry about anything until probably in your late into your, maybe in your early 40s or 50s. If you start early on, maybe in your 20s, I mean, you have enough in that. You probably have enough. That means you start LD when you're very LD because premiums are lower at that point in time, and I'm waiting until you get older. And finally, I think the other side of it is peace of mind. I think there are things I do now, and when I do them, I know that I am covered. Something covers me, something protects me. So most of the time, a lot of us relies on family and friends for financial support. They are like your what's it called, the emergency bag. So why not do it for your peace of mind? So that no matter what happens, except in rare cases, you don't have to always depend on friends and family. And finally, please future-proof your earning potential. All of us, as young as you are, you're earning more. Inflation is running with your earning capabilities. As you're earning more, inflation is chasing it. As you're earning more, inflation is changing. So why not just future-proof it? Because in the long run, I mean, if a couple of years ago, your money you spend on a particular illness, probably in that sense, is like 500K. Maybe 4 years ago. Now you're probably spending roughly 2 million on it. I'm just giving the rough estimate, back of the envelope analysis, right? Without that, so most of us young people will dream big. So I think it's advisable that you future-proof your earning potential, because or else one illness can put everything you've earned on hold. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Really, really nice points. Health issues probably will not give you a warning when they come. Health issues for you, health issues for your older ones will not give you a warning when they come. So you have to be a step ahead by future-proofing your finances, your earnings, and all, right? And I think that's really important. Future-proofing your finances through investment, investing in the right partner like Coronation, through protecting your wealth with Coronation also. So I mean, there's just so much really, and if you want to get started, you should be talking to us on different ways you can protect your wealth and future-proof your earnings. We'll quickly take questions in the Q&A session now. There's so much, a lot of questions for us to answer, and we've tried to answer some of them. So you would definitely get a response to your question. We see a lot of questions. You get a response to your question. One of our experts is answering some of the questions, and other questions, we would send you the answers if we don't take them live on this session. The first question, I would like Dr. Obodo to answer this quickly. The question is seizure a critical illness for Gen Z? Right? On the parts where does insurance cover these in the long term, most especially in the rising cost of controlled drugs? You can also speak to that. Esther can speak to that. And of course, any of the panelists who would like to speak to that based on personal experience and the likes, please feel free to speak to it. But the question here is seizure a critical illness for Gen Z?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Well, seizure, some people have, so seizure disorder, I mean, it can manifest at any point. For some, maybe when they are still very little, probably from a bacterial infection that finds its way to the brain, causing meningitis or encephalitis. Over time, there could be misfiring. So, because seizure, as you see, when someone is shaking or jerking, all right, but at the brain, what is actually causing it is a misfiring. All right. So so most individuals probably from maybe as they are little, they start having this disorder, it's in most cases progresses to adulthood. For some other people, it could also be due to trauma. All right, physical trauma. I worked in military for military hospital for like 4 years. I remember one soldier that I met at some point. He started having seizure disorder, and when the history was traced back, there was a time he was in an armored car, and Boko Haram attacked them, and because of the assault from that, all right, he hit his head somewhere, and uh, after like 3 months, he started having seizures, after seizures, after seizures. When MRI was done, it was shown that he actually had like a wound from there. So when your brain fires, that wound can cause some disruption and further causing further causing a lot of misfiring that can result in seizure. All right. So it depends on how you see it. If it's a critical care thing, but you have to understand that seizure disorder is something that most people is lasting. Is not if it could be caused by something very acute. In some others, it could be a chronic thing, like it can extend for a very long period of time, their life cycle. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bodo. Esther, do you want to add to that quickly? The question, the person also said, does the insurance covers this in the long term, most especially when you consider the rising cost of control drugs?
Okay, so to answer this, I will just advise the person to reach out to us at Coronation Life Assurance, because most of those conditions, they are subject to underwriting requirements and all. So depending on the stage of the seizure, you can just reach out to us for further clarification and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And also, I mean, I'll just add that the person had mentioned in terms of coverage with rising cost of control drugs. So with insurance policies, there's a coverage amount that you get when a claim is made. So what you do with the money in terms of the treatment is then left to you. So you get the value that has been agreed, and then you can go ahead with your purchases. There are other questions here that probably will be taken by our own in-house team. Someone asked if they could buy a critical illness insurance policy for their parents. Please, yes, you can do that. Someone is asking, is the insurance only for the young? No, so we have discussed that it's not only for young people. You can also, young people rather, can buy it even for their older ones. Now, there's a question that says, how do I start on a low budget? How do I start on a low budget? I would ask Mr. Emeka to speak to that from a finance perspective before maybe Emmanuel or Esther can speak to that. But I want Mr. Emeka to speak to that from a budget, a finance perspective. How can people start on a low budget? Because a lot of people today will tell you, I know in our last webinar, someone talked about the fact that it's only those who have eaten that can buy insurance policies. And also, how do people
Yes.
begin to make room for insurance on a low budget?
Okay, yes, thank you very much. So talking about that, the good thing is, just like it's been said over and over again by Esther, by Doctor, and the rest of us, that good enough from research that at an early stage, you know, the premium, the risk premium, you know, that you pay at an early stage of your life, is cheaper compared to when one gets to an older age like that. So to start on a low budget, everything has to do with planning. And thing is, it is still flexible enough that you know you start with what you have. Low budget might be that, oh, your current earning might be say 100,000 or something lower than that. And being that is flexible, depends on when your income comes. So you keep upgrading over time as your income level improves. You keep on upgrading over time. So you can actually start small. You can actually start as low as whatever your earning is. Everything in life. Everything is planning. You know, I think one of us emphasized on I think Mr. Vincent emphasized on oh, cutting down on some things like, oh, your YouTube premium. I think I have all of that. I think I have to go to deactivate some of them because I have all of that running, So everything has to do with planning. Everything has to do with prioritizing, letting go of some stuff, and and then looking at what we really health is non-negotiable when it comes to what you prioritize. A lot of us, we've come across the concept in accounting, this opportunity cost, the popular concept, so
Yeah.
that's that. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. I know that Esther had also said something around it starts from 10,000 naira. So even on a low budget, and it's a yearly payment. I see some questions around, is it a yearly payment? It's a yearly payment. You pay payment at the beginning of the year, hoping that, if anything happens in that year and within the year, you get the claim of what has been assured based on the premium that you have paid. So of course, it's a yearly payment, and with a low budget, the important thing is to even start and be aware of these things. Now, there's a question that talks about the terms and conditions that policyholders should be aware of. The person says insurance company would bring up some terms that will make it difficult to get claims at the point of need for indemnity. I wanted to take this question just so that it doesn't look like we're intentionally ignoring this question. So, Esther, would you like to speak to that? I know that Coronation generally, including Coronation Life Insurance, ensures prompt payment of claims, and of course, at the time of signing your coverage, you can see all terms and conditions clearly. So, but Esther, would you like to speak to that around the terms and conditions, if possible? I know you can't touch about all of them, but about us make the ease of making claims. Maybe we should speak around the ease of making claims regarding this critical illness insurance.
Okay, thank you. So for that question, we are a very credible insurance company and been in existence for over 63 years, and we have a track record of paying claims. And we don't just hide behind some legal terms and conditions that you don't understand, that you will feel trapped at the point of you asking for a claim. So if you are not sure about any terms and conditions, you can actually ask us before you even finalize the plan and all. So if you want a refund because you don't feel satisfied, which I doubt can happen, because we always have our customer needs at heart. So all terms and conditions have been designed in such a way that is favorable for the client. So, and when it comes to claim, we are credible for paying your claims, and even within 48 hours of all necessary documentation. So you're always guaranteed that your claims can be settled on time. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Esther. We're running out of time, and we would answer all the questions individually. We'll reach out to you, just so that we'll take your questions. We're not able to take all of them now, but we would reach out to you. And for those who have indicated interest in buying any of our policies, buying the critical illness insurance policy particularly, we would reach out to you today. Just know that 5 people out of those who buy from attending this webinar would win a shopping voucher of 20,000 naira each. In addition, those who buy the critical insurance policy, even from this webinar, stand a chance to win a brand new car from our Insure and Win promo. The draws come up early next month. So it's a win-win around. So you can even win a 20K voucher today and also win a car next month. And I mean, the luck could be on your side like that. We would quickly take our closing remarks and vote of thanks, and would like to invite our team lead risk management for Coronation Life Assurance, Folukemi Megumo, to please give us the closing remarks and vote of thanks. Good morning, Folu.
Good morning, Vincent, and thank you for having me. My name is Folukemi Megumo, and I serve as the team lead risk management at Coronation Life Assurance. As we come to the end of today's insightful conversation, I want to sincerely thank each and every one of you for being part of this session on the session about why millennials and Gen Z should care about critical illness insurance. Over the past hour, we've unpacked realities of financial preparedness, the importance of protecting ourselves against unexpected health challenges, and the role that critical illness insurance plays in securing our future. If there is any one takeaway from today, it's this: planning for the unexpected is not just a smart decision, it is a necessity. A special thank you to our keynote speakers and panelists for sharing their expertise, experiences, and practical advice. Your insights have been invaluable in helping us see insurance not as a distant concern, but as a fundamental part of financial wellness. To our audience, we appreciate your engagement, your questions, and most importantly, your willingness to learn and take proactive steps towards securing your financial future. Knowledge is powerful, but what truly makes the difference is action. Now is the time to take informed decisions about your health, your finances, and your peace of mind. At Coronation Life Assurance Limited, we remain committed to guiding you through this journey. Should you have any questions or need further clarification, our team is always available to assist. Thank you once again for being part of this conversation. We hope that this has been valuable to you, and we look forward to seeing you take the next step toward a more secure future. Have a great day and stay protected.
Thank you. Thank you so much for looking at me for that wonderful closing remarks. And of course, vote of thanks. I'd like to also thank all our panelists. Thank you so much for finding time to do this with us. Thank you to everyone who has attended this session. Don't forget that you stand a chance to win, of course, 30 million worth of prizes in our Insure and Win promo, which ends at the end of this month. Promo runs until March 31st. So you are at the 11th hour, and if you buy a policy from us today, tomorrow, you stand a chance to win any of our prizes: generators, microwave ovens, fridges, gift vouchers, and of course, the grand prize of a brand new 2023 Kia Rio. So please don't miss out on this opportunity. You can buy any policy at all to stand a chance to win. And of course, if you buy our insurance, critical illness insurance policy, you can win 20,000 naira shopping voucher between today and tomorrow. So because you have attended this webinar and you buy a critical illness insurance policy, which is what we're talking about, a critical illness insurance policy for yourself, for your loved one, your family, you buy any critical illness insurance policy, which starts at 10,000 naira, you get to stand a chance. 5 lucky people will win 20,000 naira gift voucher for buying that policy. You don't want to miss out on that. And of course, our Insure and Win promo. So from all of us at Coronation Life Assurance, we say thank you so much and see you at our next webinar. Till then, stay safe and all the best. Thank you.